What's going on, people? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. Everyone do go and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. We appreciate all of you and thank you very much for the support all over the years. Chelsea at home. The fixture comes round once again and we have got an action-packed stream to take you through the preview of the big game tomorrow night under the lights at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And we got to get a win this time, man. We've conceded 4 goals to Chelsea in the last 2 home games that we played against them. And now it's time to take those 3 points.
Well, last time we beat them, Ollie Skip scored the winner.
Yeah, under Conte, yeah.
Long time. Who scored the other goal? Was it Ederson? No, Kane. Harry Kane scored the goal, yeah.
Was it 2-1?
2-0.
2-0, yeah.
And I think they got a man sent off as well. I can't remember who it was, but I think they also
Chelsea a man sent off? Never.
Yeah. Surely, never heard of that. But it's usually a crazy game. It's usually a crazy game when we play Chelsea. Last 2 games at White Hart Lane have been 2 of the craziest games I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, and look, there's major boosts coming into this one with the injury news and everything like that, which we'll get into.
Heard that one before.
which we'll get into in a minute. But look, let's start off with our predicted lineup, and then we'll get into the preview. But in terms of the predicted lineup, let's run through this injury news.
Yeah, so really good news. UDOGIE, ROMERO and ODOGIE all available for selection ahead of the game on Saturday evening, which is obviously a major boost. We've missed Romero so much. He's missed, the last 3 games. So having him back is unbelievable. UDOGIE as well. That's also a major boost because Spence has been heavily relied upon on that left-hand side. And ODOGIE, who obviously got a bit of a knock against Monaco, he's back available. So that's really great. Solanke is not going to be available until after the international break. He's confirmed that. Radu Dragusin, he's confirmed, is going to be playing a behind closed doors friendly over the next international break as well. And Kota Takai has a quad injury and is currently not training, so he's unavailable. Archie Gray, we know, is now a semi-long-term injury, at least a month. Ben Davis, we haven't heard about a length of time, but he's unavailable. Kulusevski, he said, is not on the grass yet, but is making good progress.
Yeah. So look, some good news, some bad news. We really need to get those players back, the injured ones like the Kulusevskis, the Solankis, even the Kota Takais to provide a bit of cover at the back. But in terms of this one, Frank was asked about potentially the return of Cuti Romero. Does that open up a 5 at the back in terms of for this game? I think, all being a perfect world, in a perfect world, I think 5 at the back would probably be the best way to go. But I don't know. I've got a feeling it could be a bit too soon for Romero to start the game.
Well, yeah, it's interesting listening to him speak because he said he's available for selection, which is obviously really great. But then he did say, we don't know. We'll see how long he can play for. So that kind of implies, is he going to start in this game? Is he going to be thrown in? There's a tendency whenever Romero comes back fit, you do throw him in, and he is our club captain as well. And
Always
I'm sure
seems to be
Romero
against Chelsea as well.
I'm sure Romero is going to be chomping at the bit to get thrown in as well. So I'm sure if Frank asks Romero, you're good enough to start, he's going to be absolutely boss. I'm in there, put me in. But Frank has to make that decision. So I'm also undecided, even if he is fully fit, whether he would go back free, because the build-up we've been playing last couple of games has been, he's trying to instill that into the team. He's trying to work on that. I think it's been working decently past couple of games, albeit a lot of work to do. Is he going to change it at home to Chelsea just for this game to go to a back 3? Chelsea have been struggling against the back 5, so I think he must have noticed that, and maybe he thinks, okay, that's something they've been struggling with. But he also did say, Tottenham are not going to sit back in this game. We're going to go for them. This is not a Tottenham that's going to be low block all the time. There'll be times where we have to defend in a low block, but we are going to go at them. And he said from minute 1, you're going to see Tottenham going at Chelsea. So, playing a back 3.
You can do that with a back 5, though.
You can, but you do.
Especially a 3-5-2 with 2 up top.
I know, but like say for PSG, we didn't do that. We were very...
PSG is a different kettle of fish, though.
I know.
PSG is PSG.
But that's why we went back 3, to get that extra centre-back in there and frustrate PSG. I don't know if we're going to do that against Chelsea at home. I think maybe we feel like, why should we do that?
Yeah, well, first of all, because Chelsea struggle against the back 5, and I think in terms of the way we have been playing our football, I think it must be the best avenue. Look, we'll get into all of it in the preview, but I do think we're going to go 4 at the back, albeit I do think 5 at the back is probably the best course of action. But I think in my mind, I've got it as like 4 at the back. And then maybe in the latter stages of the game, if we're ahead, we move to a 5 at the back, bring on Romero to seal off the victory.
If Romero is fit enough to start, does he play back 3?
Yeah, I think he will.
I still think he goes back 4. I think he thinks it's working well, so I don't think there's any real reason to change it.
I think it just depends on who you're playing against and which formation and setup he's going to go for.
I understand that, but does he feel like Chelsea are that good he has to change it?
Yeah, I mean, look, Chelsea are a very good side. They're on good form as well, and we struggle against them.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's past. We're talking about now. That doesn't matter how we've done it previously. But yeah, they're a good team, but they have lost 3 of the last 5 games in the Premier League, albeit the 2 games they did win were Liverpool and can't remember the other one, Forest away. So, look, decent wins, but are they that good that you have to change your whole approach at home to nullify them? I don't know if you'll feel that. Yeah,
I'm just looking at our home form, and I think it gives us more of the safety net in this game, where I think we just need to get this win, and I think 5 at the back gives us a better opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I hear that. I don't think he does. I think this game we go forward back.
Look, I agree. I'm saying we will go forward at the back. I don't think Romero is going to start, which is a bit of a spoiler. But look, let's get into the predicted lineups then. So we're going for a 4-2-3-1 as per usual. In goal, we're going to welcome back Guillermo Vicario in goal, which will be a welcome return. And it's not many people would have been saying that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and Kinski obviously came in, didn't cover himself in much glory away at St James's Park. Vicario's been in great form, and now everyone's clamouring for him to be back in the team. So how quickly a goalkeeper's stock can change.
Exactly. So Vicario, big up to him. Much welcome return. Right back, I think, yeah, pretty simple. Pedro Porro.
Well, you say simple. I think it will be, but Udogie's back.
Yeah.
Is there a chance he goes Spence right back?
I don't think so. I think he's going to play Pedro Porro, and I think Destiny starts as well at left back.
Because this game, Chelsea are they rely on their wingers, don't they? They're going to have Garnacho there, they're going to have Neto, maybe Gittins. Is this a game where maybe if you nullify their wide players, that could be an avenue where what Frank looks at potentially? Yeah,
it's true, but I still think he'll fancy Pedro Porro against the wingers that Chelsea have, and Pedro Porro offers us so much more offensively as well. So I think Pedro Porro comes straight back in.
All right, I agree. Left back.
Yeah, I think it will be.
So we think Udogie is fit enough to start, but Romero isn't.
Yeah, I just got a feeling as well, just because.
But Romero was ahead of him.
In terms of what?
He came back on the grass quicker. He was ahead of him.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, he was saying, he was training with the team before Udogie was during the week. Udogie only came back on the grass just before Newcastle, whereas for Romero it was a bit before.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of injuries, if...
Romero was... I think Udogie had a slight knock on his knee.
Yeah.
He had felt some fatigue in his knee, I think he said. And what did Romero have? I can't remember. He had a strain. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just got a feeling that Spence needs a bit of a rest at the moment. I think Danso is performing really well week in, week out. The performances from Jed Spence are a bit up and down a little bit at the moment. So, I've just got a feeling Destiny will be ready.
It's also a case that you can't really... Is it too much a risk to throw them both back in a back 4 as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Because if they both break down, you're in real trouble. All right, we're going to go with Udogie then, left back. We'll try. Yeah, I hope we do. I think it's going to be a good avenue for us to attack down. So we're going Danso and Van der Ven.
Danso and Van der Ven, yep. I think we will see Romero in this game, but I think it'll be in the latter stages of the game. So I think Danso keeps his spot, and deservedly so. And Mickey Van der Ven comes in as captain at left centre back, and he was nicely rested in midweek as well. So hopefully, no doubt about it, we're going to see a top Mickey Van der Ven.
Yeah, for sure. And that hopefully he's fit, he's fresh, and Chelsea's attacking options at the moment up front, Delap's suspended. They've been playing Mark Guiu recently, who's obviously not been a top option for them. They have João Pedro.
Yeah.
But I think either of those players, I think our centre backs we're looking at thinking we can handle that.
Yeah, I mean, João Pedro's been a bit off form, hasn't he? He hasn't got a goal contribution in a while.
I just feel he's more of a number 10. He's not really a striker.
And they have dropped him back to number 10 in recent weeks. So, look, I think when you're looking at Chelsea's forward options, there are some good players there, don't get me wrong. But without Cole Palmer, they miss a lot, don't they? And I think our defenders will fancy their chances against that Chelsea front line.
I think they've really got it wrong in the striking department. They got rid of Jackson. They signed Delap, who's obviously suspended for this game, luckily for us, and they've got João Pedro. So they're heavily reliant, in my opinion, on Delap because he's their only real natural number 9. I don't see João Pedro as a number 9. So I think it won't be too long before they look for another striker.
Yeah, potentially. I think they tried to stop that move for Jackson, didn't they, to Bayern Munich?
Because Delap got injured.
Exactly, and it was a little too late. Jackson refused to come back. But, look, that is the back four we're going for. We're going for Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Destiny Udogie left back two of Kevin Danso and Mickey van der Ven. In the midfield, I do think it's going to be more of the same. So first up, João Palhinha.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I don't know what you call them, but is it the trusted double pivot or the double pivot that the Tottenham fans don't want to see, especially at home? But I do think we are going to see it in this game.
You know what? You don't really want to see it at home, but in this game, I don't mind seeing it against this Chelsea side.
Oh, one sec. Yeah, I think it's going to be these two again.
Yeah, so Palhinha and Rodrigo Bentancur in the middle.
There's also been a trend that whenever Bentancur goes off, we seem to fall apart. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I haven't noticed that, actually.
Yeah, in recent games. Against Newcastle, he goes off, we fall apart. Against Monaco, he went off and it got way worse. Like, I feel like he's maybe people are underestimating his influence in midfield, potentially.
Yeah, but also you've got to say that in both of those games, it's not like we were well on top when he was on the pitch.
No, but it's gotten worse.
Yeah. But also, like, the Newcastle game, there were more things going on than just Bentancur going off. They also brought on, like, a hell of a, great players in the middle of the park. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it, but also in both those games, we weren't great. So, Bentancur, Palhinha in the middle, Xavi in the 10. I think he retains his spot because I think steps in the right direction. And I've got a feeling this is the game. This is the game for Xavi.
Chelsea at home.
This is the game where we're going to welcome Xavi to Tottenham Hotspur.
It's written.
It's written.
It's written in this game. Given how he nearly moved to Chelsea, it fell through. At home as well, he hasn't really had that one big performance to welcome him to the Premier League yet. It'll be special for this one. This is the Premier League scriptwriters. Get it in for this game. This
100%.
It's written for tomorrow.
Yeah, I've really got a feeling this is Xavi's game tomorrow. Right wing, obviously Mohamed Kudus comes straight back in. Two performance. I mean, he's been all right. He's been all right last couple of games. I mean, I thought he was very good at Everton. Well, you thought the opposite. Last game when he came on, I thought it was kind of marked out the game. But this could be a game for Kudus as well. I think Kudus can be bang up for this one.
Yeah, 100%. But obviously, in the game against Everton, he was more of a number 10. Against Newcastle, came on, was out wide, but didn't really impact the game for the last 20 minutes or so. It's going to be interesting to see, because we've been building up in this 3-2-5 formation in possession. He said he's wanted to get players closer to Xavi to he can combine with. That's why he went with Johnson on the right and Kudus a bit central. Now, that's going to influence, obviously, how he plays, who he plays on the left or on the right, because he's gone Johnson on the right last couple of games. He's done better, but still, we want a bit better quality. So does he go Kudus again a bit more tucked inside with Johnson out wide, or is he going to go with maybe another 10 on the left, or what do we think?
I think he's going to go with another number 10 on the left, and I think it's going to be Bergvall.
Bergvall?
Yeah.
Like against Newcastle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a similar dynamic because Bergvall really performed, I thought, in that position midweek. There was nice dynamic with Xavi Simons as well. And to have Xavi, Kudus and Bergvall all behind a striker, I think that's a bit mouth-watering.
And I think if you get UDOGIE as well on the outside,
Exactly, yeah.
that creates the width as well.
Exactly,
and
and
I
also
think that creates a better dynamic.
And also, if we're talking about Wilson Odebear is just returning as well. So I think it's a bit too much to have that whole left-hand side of players just returning from injury. So I've got a feeling it will be Lucas Bergvall.
All right, we're going Bergvall off the left in the two number 10s essentially.
Yeah, so it's not actually off the left. Well,
Yeah.
it is in a sense.
to the
Like
left, yeah.
when he's defending, he'll be on the left, but when he's attacking, he'll be more in the central areas. So that's the kind. And then I think it's going to be Randall Kolo Muani up top.
I agree.
I think he definitely deserves it. And that's a much different look front four, as you know, no Tell, no Odebear, no Johnson. I think all these players, I think everyone's quite excited to see.
But again, you know, it's another different front four, isn't it? So it's going to take a bit, you know, might not click straight away. But I think in terms of the dynamics we saw on Wednesday night, finding Bergvall and Javi in those pockets, that's what we're going to look to do again. Look, if hopefully Romero is fit enough to start, because I think if he is, he's going to be able to play those line-breaking passes a lot better than maybe Danso can. But even if not, I think we did a good job of it on Wednesday. So hopefully we can do the same again with a bit more cohesion, with a bit more quality with Kudus and Kolo Muani instead of Richarlison and Johnson. Hopefully that can lead to better results.
I really like this dynamic of the forward line because you've got João Pedro and Bentancur sitting, protecting, making sure nothing passes, and then you've got so much creativity ahead of them in Javi Simmons, Mohamed Kudus, Bergvall, and then hopefully Kolo Muani to be in the right place at the right time to finish it off.
And I think UDOGIE makes a huge difference.
100%.
Huge difference.
100%.
You get him down to the byline, you get him stretching the play out wide, you're actually creating width. Whereas I feel like Spence just adds to the kind of central kind of dominance. He doesn't really stretch the game enough. And when he does, he doesn't do enough with it. I think UDOGIE, when he gets there, he'll create an opportunity for you. He'll get to that byline. So I think him and Bergvall there makes us much more of a threat on the left as well.
Agreed. And you look at it, and you look at that four, that square of Danso, Bentancur, Paulinho, and Mickey van der Ven. That's going to be our wall against Chelsea, right? Then you've got Pedro Porro creating from deep. You've got Destiny UDOGIE creating that width. You've got Kudus on the other side creating the width. I mean, I really like this team. Really like this team.
And also, having maybe Bergvall there, you know, as a bit more of a central player, could help us because Reece James likes to play a bit inverted and tuck inside. And I think that could help, that could suit Bergvall.
That battle on our right-hand side of Mohamed Kudus and Marc Cucurella is going to be one hell of a battle, isn't it?
Odds on Kudus pulling his hair?
I mean, we need Romero to come on and do that. But yeah, they are going to foul each other a lot, Kudus and Cucurella. That's going to be one hell of a battle. But look, we'll get into everything in the match preview. But in terms of if we go with that team, what's your score prediction?
Yeah, I said 1-1, but I'm looking at Chelsea's front line, and especially centrally, I think we can handle it. But I think out wide, that's where I'm worried because they're very tricky out wide. I think defensively they can be got at. I think we can take them. I'm going to go 2-1 to Spurs.
2-1.
I think we can take them. I really do. I'm looking at the teams. I'm like, why can't we? What should we be worried about?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see which way they go. But I agree. I think it's about time Spurs beat Chelsea. And I think it's going to come tomorrow night
And their injuries,
at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, their injuries should play a big part.
Yeah. So I am going to go for a clean sheet for Spurs tomorrow night.
Sheet.
I think it's going to be a clean sheet. And I said 1-0 in Predict the Prem. I'm going for 2-0 this time.
2-0.
2-0 to Spurs. And I'm going to go for Kolo Muani and Javi Simmons to get their first goals for Tottenham Hotspur. So that is my prediction. Sim is going for 2-1. Let me know your predicted lineup and your predicted scorelines in the comments section below. But let's get in to the match preview. And you look, in all competitions, Chelsea are 4 wins from their last 5. Obviously, that loss coming last weekend against Sunderland at home, which would have been a major blow to them. Major blow. But I think Tottenham and Chelsea are locked both as top goal scorers in the Premier League. It's always a massive occasion when Chelsea come to Spurs, and we need to stop the rot of just conceding 4 goals to these lot. The last 2 times that they've come to Tottenham, we've conceded 4 goals, which is just nowhere near good enough. We've lost 4 in a row to Chelsea. It's time we put that right this weekend, and I feel like this is one of the best opportunities that we have with the injuries that they've got, with the kind of, I know they're winning a lot of games in all competitions, but like you mentioned before in the predicted lineup, in the Premier League, it's a bit iffy their form. And I think it's an opportunity for us.
They're a bit similar to us. Away from home, they're actually quite good, but at home they're having struggles. They lost to Brighton, they lost to Sunderland. They haven't been quite as good at home, but away from home, they're a lot harder to beat and a lot harder to play against. They also, especially earlier in the season, were relying heavily on set pieces. They were scoring a lot of set piece goals. So I don't know if they're still getting a lot of advantages from that, but they were definitely doing that earlier in the season. But I look at them at the moment. Maresca's a very good tactical manager. He's very savvy. He's very clever. They're in build-up. They're very difficult to press and they're very difficult to control. But I think at the moment they're being hampered by a lot of injuries, suspensions, and again a high turnover of players in the summer. I think every summer they're kind of playing catch up with themselves in a sense that it's going to take a lot to kind of I feel for them to start gelling again. They've still got a lot of quality. I think Esteval has been brilliant. He's only 17 and what a talent he is. He might not even start, but even if whether he does or he doesn't, or he comes off the bench, he's a proper talent. You got to say he's really taken to the Premier League so well.
I mean, he's in the last international break, he scored 2 goals for Brazil, didn't he? In one game.
Yeah.
So I mean, that shows you where they value him. He's a proper player.
He's a real talent. They've got a lot of talent, but they're a very young team. They're a very young team. I think their biggest strength is definitely midfield. Caicedo, Enzo, that dynamic has been fantastic for them. And I think Caicedo is such a big player for them. If we can kind of not get dominated there, I think that goes a long way. Because I think I look at both boxes in terms of striker potentially, if they're going to start Mark Guiu, and I look at their centre-backs. They've been starting with Shallow and Achimpong recently. I look at that and I'm thinking we should have a big advantage there. We have more quality there. But then I look at the wide areas. I think maybe they'll feel differently there.
Yeah, I mean, last couple of games they've started with Neto and Garnacho. Garnacho obviously scored last time out against Sunderland, but he's been hauled off both games like quite early on. I think Pedro Neto is having a very good season actually, but I don't think it's anything to be frightened of or scared of. I think the likes of Pedro Porro and Destiny UDOGIE should back themselves against players like Garnacho and Pedro Neto. I really believe that. It's not like it's Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. They're good players, but they're not like unbelievable players.
A bit worried about Porro, to be honest. I'm not as worried about UDOGIE. I think UDOGIE can handle it in the one-on-one situations quite well. Porro, when he doesn't have the help, sometimes can struggle.
So it'll be probably Garnacho against Porro.
Yeah, could be Garnacho, could be Neto. Depends who they play on the right. I think I'd be much more comfortable if it's Garnacho because he's handled him well before. But if it's Neto, I'm a bit more worried because I think he has struggled against Neto before, if I remember.
Yeah, well, in those games against Wolves over the last couple of years, we've left a lot of space for Wolves, and they've just banged us on the counter attack. That's the way Neto's been scoring his goals. But I don't think we're going to allow them that kind of opportunities in this game.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder how this game is going to go because I think Frank is obviously very aware our home form has been nowhere near good enough. And it's not just the home form, it's how we've been playing at home.
Yeah.
That's the big issue. I think if we've been going at teams and just being unlucky, I think fans wouldn't care as much, but we have been really hard to watch, not really attacking anywhere near enough, not really creating anywhere near enough chances, way too easy to play against at home. I think that's been the big problem. So I think he's tomorrow gonna really drill to the players. I think you've got to try and getting on top of them. You've got to try and show a bit of aggression, dominance. You've got to be sharper than them. And I think we're going to go at them. I'm not saying we're going to leave loads of space in behind. I think any Frank team, they're smart. They're going to obviously pick their moments to drop deep, pick their moments to go forward. But there will be moments, I think, when we do commit some risk. And I just hope we don't get caught out on those moments. And I think it's the right thing to do. You do have to do that at home. If you're going to be more attacking, going to be more aggressive, there's going to be moments where if you get caught out, you get caught out. But you've got to make sure they're to a minimum. And you've got to make sure you're on top of them more than they're on top of you. And you're going at them.
Yeah. I think the fans gonna play a massive part in the game tomorrow night because we all know, we had the drummer on yesterday, and we were talking about the problems at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with the atmosphere. There's obviously initiatives in place and plans in place tomorrow to make it a cracking atmosphere. And I think so far, when we've had these poor performances, I'm not saying this is the only reason, but it could play a part in it. The stadium's just been completely flat. Where I think coming into the game tomorrow night, obviously it's London derby under the lights, first one of the season. I think the fans are going to be bang up for this one, and I think the players are going to feed off the energy. I really do. You remember the last couple of games at Chelsea, when we've conceded 4 goals, but the atmosphere has always been top in those games. So I expect it to be the same. I expect the players to kind of feed off that, and I expect Spurs to have a really fast start in this game. Really fast start. And Frank, like you said, has mentioned it in the press conference, how we need to get at them from minute 1. And if we can get at them from minute 1 and get that early goal, that should hold it in good stead, because I think we've only dropped points once when we've gone ahead so far this season.
Although it was a game we got an early goal. Yeah. Against Villa.
Yeah. And it was at home, but the atmosphere was dead. So I think if we go 1-0 up against Chelsea, it's not going to be the same kettle of fish against Villa, where the flat atmosphere is just going to go completely flat. I think the fans are going to be absolutely jubilant and delighted.
Yeah. And we need to just start correcting that home form, and I think it has to start on Saturday.
Absolutely. It's been nowhere near good enough. Performance and result. I know, it's ridiculous.
17th, mad,
ridiculous.
Everyone talks about how great it is, which is fine, how great our away form is, which is top, and that is great. But we are 17th in home form. It's mad.
Which is 17th in home form, but 3rd in the league.
Yeah.
Which is the most important one.
Of course. I'm not saying everything's bad. I'm just saying no one talks about the home form, like in terms of how low down we are. Everyone keeps mentioning top of the away form. We are 17th in home form. Yeah, we like to project the good things. Keep the bad things in the back pocket. Keep it under wraps. It's very similar to Chelsea, who are 3rd away form and 15th at home form.
Oh, is that right? I didn't even know that. Wow. But there's a bit of PTSD coming into this game, though, because first of all, it's always against Chelsea. There's a bit of PTSD, no matter what. But last year was very similar in terms of Romero and Van de Ven were out for a while, and they returned and rushed back for the game, and both went off injured. Obviously, Van de Ven goes off in the latter stages of the game with that hamstring, and Romero goes off in the first half. It always seems to be against Chelsea. It always seems to be against Chelsea, where we get these kind of injuries beforehand and then we rush them back to play Chelsea. There is a slight risk. There is a risk of that with Romero, UDOGIE, and even Wilson Odobert coming back for this game. Obviously, they weren't deemed fit enough to play on Wednesday, and now Frank has said they're available in contention. It wasn't even just the game last time, though. Like the one before that in the 4-1. When we lost 4-1 and what's his name scored a hat-trick, and
Jackson
and Kulusevski said that we lost the game but won at life. All of that, high line for life, all that.
Lost Maddison, lost Van de Ven.
That derailed our season 10 games in. Van de Ven goes off injured. Maddison goes off. Romero gets sent off.
UDOGIE got sent off.
UDOGIE got sent off. So it's like these 2 games have really given me PTSD about going into this game. I do think we're going to win, but you can never be too sure, can you, against Chelsea? Yeah,
there is this game, literally this game, and it's always been around this time, both seasons as well. It's really derailed our season 2 years in a row, where we've been in decent positions, and then this game comes around and everything goes to shit.
And we took the lead in both games, didn't we?
Yeah.
Got 2-0 up last year.
2-0 up last year, and then we were 1-0 up, and then we had that Son offside goal the year before. I don't think it's going to be as crazy this game, although I'd love it if it's crazy and it goes in our favour, but I've got a feeling the game is going to be a bit calmer on Saturday than it has been in the previous 2
Chelsea
games.
Will try and make it a chaotic game. We know that. Chelsea will, and I think we're just going to try and take that craziness off them and try and make it a bit more calmer game. So look, we'll see how it goes, but it's always a difficult game when we're Chelsea. For you,
man. So is that in your mind when you're thinking, and that's why maybe Romero won't start?
That is 100% in my mind, man. I just don't want to rush him back. I don't want him to get injured again. We need him so much going forward. He impacts so much of the good things that we do from the back. He's our captain, and we just desperately need him, especially with the North London derby coming around the corner as well, and a massive game against Manchester United next weekend. Like, I would even go as far to say as like, don't start him today. Don't even start him on Wednesday or Tuesday. Get him fit for that Man United game.
Why that game specifically? Just because you don't want them to win 5 in a row?
No, I don't care about them winning 5 in a row, but I think like if he's back fit now and you give him a week's rest, then he should definitely be fit. Like I want to keep winning in the Premier League, and I think Man United is going to be a really hard game, and I think we're going to need him. Not because of the opposition, just because of it's another Premier League game.
I hear you, but he's available for selection now, so if he's available, isn't he?
I know, but we've had players available before, and they've got injured because we've rushed them back. So if he wasn't fit enough on Wednesday, it does make me... And look, the same is with UDOGIE. It is same with UDOGIE. But, yeah, I just don't want to rush him back. If he's 100% fit and the medical team says he's 100% fit and there's no risk of recurring injury, then, yeah, play him, without a doubt. But if there's even that, 5% chance, don't play him, man.
Yeah, and that's the decision Frank has to make. And, it's just a difficult one because it is Chelsea. It's a London derby. He is our captain, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely desperate to play. He's going to be probably knocking down Frank's door saying, get me in, put me in, I'm playing. No chance I'm missing out this game. That's probably what he's saying. So it's going to have to be Frank, if he isn't 100% fit, again with that caveat, to make that hard decision and say, look, you're not 100%, we're going to win. It's a long season, we're going to need you. So we're not going to use you in this game. I don't know. I got a feeling he will start, but we'll see. I get that feeling he's going to start.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he starts. That's the reality. I do. Obviously, I hope he starts, but I don't know, man. It's just the PTSD. It's just...
and especially because it's Chelsea
That's
again.
the thing, yeah. That's the thing.
So it's like we've seen this story before.
Yeah.
We don't want to see it again.
I really like that dynamic, though. Like we were mentioning in the predicted lineup, Kolo Muani up top. I think he's shown some nice things without making too much of an impact. I think it's fair to say so far. Javi Simmons step in the right direction last week against on midweek against Newcastle.
I kind of feel like that's why it's important to have 2 number 10s. Like we have continued that dynamic because Caicedo just covers so much ground. If it's just Javi alone in that 10, I think Caicedo will probably eat him up. But if he's got that help, he's got those creative players next to him, I think all of a sudden we might have a better opportunity of kind of breaking past him, albeit it's still going to be very difficult. But I think we've got a better chance of doing that with a couple of players next to each other rather than just one floating around there, I feel.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about last night? In this new kind of tactical setup that we've got, is it not mouthwatering thinking about the return of Kulusevski in this kind of role? Like, if you have him where maybe we're playing a Javi now and you play a Javi where kind of Bergvall is, or the other way around, like whatever, where he wants to go. I think it's tailor-made for Kulusevski.
Absolutely. Get Decky in the 10. And I think he's going to work wonders. And I think Frank is probably absolutely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then when you get Maddison in there as well, I mean, I don't know how you'll fit them all in, but...
Yeah, look, Maddison, there's no point even thinking about because it's just so long till he comes back. But Kulusevski could be back, in the next couple of months. So, I mean, that Kulusevski is just like... I had dreams of it last night, man.
It's going to be amazing. And he's so strong as well, so he's going to work hard as well off the ball. He's going to add... You don't lose anything physically, but he's just going to add that little bit extra quality in that middle. I think he's tailor-made for it, to be honest. Yeah.
And look, I think whatever you want to say about Chelsea, you can get out their defence. Their defence is not that strong. I think what they're going to play... Achimpong and Chalobah at centre-backs, I think, look, I've been slightly impressed with Achimpong. Chalobah, I don't think is anything special. So I think our attacking players in the central area should be licking their lips when they think about these players coming, because it's not, you're thinking about Chelsea lineups from yesteryear with the defences they used to have. I mean, this is just a shadow of it, isn't it?
And James likes to invert. He actually has been really good this season, James, I have to say. He's had a really good season, but he likes to play a bit inverted as well. You think about their centre-back options, especially with Colwell, long-term injury, and Sanchez and goal as well. It's like that. None of them would be starting for probably top 10 teams, you'd say. Like, they're not that great.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like, how Frank likes to create those high XG chances and play those balls. I think there should be a directive from Frank, sometimes take those shots from 25 yards, take those shots from 30 yards. We've got players like Kudus and we've got players like Javi Simmons and Lucas Bergvall that can hit them from far. So why not test the keeper?
100%. And that's something, obviously, I think you've seen it even against Newcastle. You always want to play that extra pass all the time. And something that I think once everyone gets in on the same wavelength, it's going to be okay. But at the moment, that extra pass leads to us missing the chance a lot of the time and not taking any shots, rather than at least getting a shot on goal and testing the keeper or something like that. I think when I look at the dynamics on the team as well, I think the fact that if we can play UDOGIE in this game, I think it's going to be so important, because I think whoever plays for Chelsea, if they're on the wing, if they're not tracking him back, and with the way Reece James likes to play, I think that's going to be an element that's going to be very difficult for Chelsea to contain.
Yeah,
I think I think UDOGIE could really cause some serious trouble there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't in that 4-1 game, like in that first half, UDOGIE was just on fire, wasn't
he? Yeah.
And he completely was marauding down that left-hand side or through the middle in that Ange inverted system, like nobody's business. So I think I want to see him have a kind of repeat of that. Can he play 90 minutes? I don't know. But I think it's really important for Spurs to take that lead, get that lead going into the last half an hour, 25 minutes, and that gives us the opportunity and the options to bring on a Romero, go back free, bring on a Spence, solidify it at the back, and hopefully we can see it out.
Is there any worry for you again playing this pivot? Are we going to have the similar struggles that we've had in other home games where we just haven't been able to progress the ball centrally anywhere near enough? What's interesting, though, just before you answer that, is against Newcastle, if you look at our part, I know Palhinha was in.
Yeah, that was a big thing,
defense, but our pass map was a lot more central, a lot more progressive than it has been in other games. So I think maybe that's a way of that we're trying to find a solution.
Yeah, I hope so. But obviously, I think Palhinha in the defence and, having Bentancur alongside a different midfielder was a big part of it. But there's no reason why Bentancur and Palhinha can't pass it forward. There is no reason whatsoever. I don't think it's a personnel issue. I do think it was an instruction from Frank.
I agree.
So I think that when you're looking at this game and when you're looking at the last couple of games mainly against Newcastle, if the instruction was to play it through the middle, they did that pretty well at times. So hopefully the instruction will be from Frank to keep it the same.
I think what I'd like to see, I saw someone suggest this on X yesterday. What I'd like to see is in this 3-2-5 build-up we have, is instead of Palhinha and Bentancur being next to each other, I would like to see Palhinha drop into the back three and Porro maybe go alongside Bentancur in possession, play like that Trent role. Trent used to play for Liverpool last season. Because I think Palhinha against Newcastle looked so much more comfortable on the ball in a deeper area. It was like he didn't have that pressure of midfielders always on his back and he had to rush his passing or anything like that. He could take his time. All of a sudden you saw a bit more quality from him. He can charge into midfield as well when there's a space opening up. But him picking the ball up from a deep area where there's more space, there's less pressure on him, I think it kind of suits him. I think he just looked a lot better on the ball, I felt, against Newcastle.
I agree with that. But also, I think it works a lot better if you have Romero on the pitch, because Romero, obviously, if Danto's picking up the balls in those areas, defending on that right-hand side, then obviously we've got a bit of a flaw in playing out the back. But if Romero's there, winning the ball back there, then obviously you can start attacks really well. He can dink it into midfield. He can go for those long switches out wide. He can just feed it into the mid. We've got so many more options if Romero's there.
It's true. So I think that's something I would like him to consider. Potentially, if Romero's fit, especially, I think that's be perfect. You got all paths to everywhere around the pitch, which is exactly what we need. So, I think be interesting to see if that's a solution he finds. But I don't expect him to implement it tomorrow. I think he's going to continue with Bentancur and Palhinha in the middle. I still feel Palhinha. When he's on the ball in those situations, especially when he's being pressured, he kind of rushes his passing a lot. He plays out of play. He kind of panics a bit too much. Doesn't have that same composure Bentancur has. Bentancur just is able to just put his foot. Sometimes it's a detriment. Sometimes he's too lax and he loses it. But I feel like at least he's just got that little bit more composure than Palhinha in the middle. I feel.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. He definitely does. So look, we'll wait and see the dynamic. I think it's going to be a massive day, a massive evening at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. First real big game at Tottenham since Frank has come.
Need a big big performance.
So I think, we need an incredibly big performance. I want to see Kolo Muani, really trying to catch them out with their high line and running behind. And I think he can do that. I think, he's always mobile, Kolo Muani. Always looking for I think, like, when I compare Kolo Muani to Richarlison, I think Muani will always be looking for that running behind. And I think Richarlison can be a bit like kind of stuck in his ways, stuck in the mud kind of thing at times.
And I think Muani as well is a better link-up player as well.
Yeah.
I think he's better with his back to goal than Richarlison. I think Richarlison, when he's at his peak, he can be good, but I feel like too often, the ball comes bouncing off him in difficult situations, where I feel like Muani has a better understanding of his surroundings than Rishi, and that's what I like about him in that position. I'm just looking to see who's the favourite in this game. Is it going to be us, you reckon?
I think it's going to be very even. Very even. I think Chelsea might be slight favourites.
We're 17-10 and they're 6-4. So yeah, they're slight favourites.
Yeah. So look, all good things hopefully are going to be coming tomorrow night. Me and Brian on the watch long. Sim is going to he's also said, Sim, don't let him back in the studio if he comes back with a voice. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But that is it from the preview. Sim has predicted 2-1 to Tottenham.
Feeling good vibes.
I've predicted 2-0. I would say, though, that I do feel like the Spurs fan base in this one are a bit too confident. Including myself, including you, including everyone.
We went for draws in the Prem.
You did. I went for Spurs win. I went 1-0. But I feel like, how it goes, Sim. You know how it goes. When Spurs fans are too confident, it just gets thrown back in our faces every time. But hopefully this time will be different.
For you, how much is this, if a test of Tottenham is this tomorrow? Like, are Chelsea a really good litmus test to see where we are? Or, like, are they not in good form, so you can't learn much, or is this just like a massive test for Tottenham?
I think it's a massive test. I think you look throughout the years, no matter who our manager is, no matter what form Chelsea are in, no matter what form Tottenham are in, we always seem to struggle against Chelsea. It's a massive London derby. They absolutely hate us. The last 2 times at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we've just been so disappointing. Maybe not in performance-wise, but just in results and the way things have panned out. And I think with it being the first real test, look, we've had Bournemouth here and we've had Villa. They're tests in its own right, but I'm talking about like a big 6 clash London derby. It's the first big night for Thomas Frank at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and with the poor performances that we've had at home so far, with the kind of difference, the tactical shift that Thomas Frank has done, it's looked a bit better, but obviously we lost on the weekend or midweek, and deservedly so. So I really want to see Spurs have a real strong performance and take all 3 points tonight. And I think, I do think you can learn quite a lot from it. Yeah,
because I think whatever you want to say about this Chelsea team, it did still. I know Liverpool's not great in the moment, but they did beat Liverpool not so long ago, and they had a really good performance as well in that game. So I think you can. It's still going to be a very difficult game. Like Chelsea and Maresca are very smart. He's going to probably come up with a plan. He said he'd watched the last 9 Sunderland games before they played Sunderland on the weekend, and he was analysing them. He said not once did they play a back 5. They changed it to a back 5. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a surprise up his sleeve for us coming to the Tottenham Stadium, knowing that we've probably analysed them. We've seen they've struggled against a back 5. Maybe could we go to a back 5? But then could it be a double bluff from Maresca? Could he have a trick up his sleeve for us? So I think it's going to be quite an interesting tactical battle. Both teams like to be very tactically astute. I think the difference between Maresca and Frank is Maresca's much more focused on having control. He's much more, which can lead to a lot of pointless possession a lot of the time and can be frustrating to watch, but he's much more focused on short passes, having that control on the pitch, whereas Frank is a lot more happier to not have control I think he wants it, but he doesn't mind not having it as long as he's got every kind of area covered and he's got all situations covered, whether it be a transition, whether it be when we do have the ball. I think he's a bit more adaptable in that sense. So I think it is going to be a very, very interesting tactical battle on Saturday.
It will be, 100%. And I'm looking at this Chelsea side and it's just not much worries me. I mean, I look at Caicedo and Enzo. top players, one of the best 2 double pivots maybe in the Premier League, actually. I look at James and Cucurella, but apart from that, I don't see this Chelsea side being a top side. I actually think they've got weaker since the summer transfer window.
But who they played when they played good teams this season? They
lost to Man U.
They lost to United. That was a bad performance, but they were down to 10 men.
They go down 10 men. They're getting man sent off this game as well.
That is true.
They get man sent off every game.
Yeah, which is maybe we got to think about that.
So, but
rile them up.
Yeah, 100%. But you can't like maybe if they get one man sent off, you can say, but they had 10 men that game. But they get a man sent off literally every game, so you can't give them that excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't give them that excuse every week. Oh yeah, but they had a man sent off.
They lost at home to Brighton 3-1. So, that's a pretty decent team they lost to. Drew at home to Palace 0-0. So when they've played some of the better teams, I know then like Palace and Brighton historically haven't been one of the better teams, but I think nowadays they're pretty decent.
But apart from Liverpool, have they beaten anyone in the top half yet? I'm not sure if they have.
Not that I can see. Sunderland they lost to, No, I don't think they have.
So as much as this is a big test for Frank and us, this is actually a massive test for them as well.
Lost to
I think I think both teams have a lot to prove in this game. A lot.
I also feel like they're suffering a lot from the Club World Cup being in that competition.
100%.
I think it's burnt them out a bit.
Yeah.
They're kind of playing catch up.
Yeah.
This season.
And like when you don't have a player like Cole Palmer, who's been so important for them, got the majority of their goals and assists over the last couple of years, you're going to feel it, and I think they're feeling it massively. So, look, we'll see what happens tomorrow night under the lights. Sim, like I said, is going to be there. I'm going to be here with you guys. Come and tune in 15 minutes before kickoff. Looking forward to seeing you all there. And obviously the post-match fan show is your chance to have your say after we stuff Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I want to see all your happy faces on the fan show. But that is it from us today. I want to thank you all for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs!